Turn the handle, you pull.
I see him.
You pull. We gotta hold him away from this trap. He's literally right by the trap.
Like 20 feet up that way, yep.
Big boy coming aboard.
Big boat, big fish.
I thought he was gonna be bigger.
On the vast and freezing waters of the North Atlantic, seasoned fishermen goes on adventurous but life-threatening journeys every day on the hit show Wicked Tuna, in search of the mighty bluefin tuna. In spite of the great adventures on the show, they have had a series of gripping dangers, lurking around every wave and catching on in the deep. How do they survive their hardships? Join us as we take you on the breathtaking, dangerous moments on Wicked Tuna, where lives are on the line and the sea shows no mercy. The giants of the sea. According to a report by the Pew Charitable Trusts, commercial tuna fisheries contribute more than $40 billion each year to the global economy, marking a huge significance for the tuna business, which is incredibly valuable. This also makes the economic gains for coastal economies connected to the industry much more relevant. However, the risks that the fishermen take just to have a profitable catch have left us to wonder how much more worthy it has become to endanger one's life on fishing expenditures. The sea has most times been on whirlwind. The reality TV show Wicked Tuna, however, has given us more insights into the dangers these legendary fishermen face at the deepest of the sea on their commercial tuna fishing trajectory. As dangerous and dreadful as tuna fishing can be, the show has proven that no one knows better than the cast of Wicked Tuna. They have spent years foraging for the biggest fish in return for thousands of dollars, reaping vast rewards. Let's dive properly into the horrible moments encountered by the fishermen on the sea and how they have managed to overcome them. One of the major problems with the Wicked Tuna is the fierce unpredictability of nature, which is coupled with the initial dangers of the high seas, thereby creating heart-pounding moments in the world of commercial tuna fishing. From lightning storms to disastrous seaboard fires, the fleet tends to navigate disastrous conditions. Even the most beautiful of the days is not left out with the possibility of danger on each day. While on their mission, the fishermen on board encounter a harrowing scene of a vessel that is slowly sinking just miles away from the shore. With their fellow fishermen in danger, the Wicked Tuna fleet springs into action. Hence, the fleet direction is turned around to the scene that needs their prompt attention. They are definitely always ready to locate the imperiled ship and save those on board before it is too late. Led by a ray of hope, the Wicked Tuna fleet crew navigated through the heavy fog with noticeable tension as they approached the ship that was capsizing into the deep sea. With all hands on deck, the rescue mission was a success, as the ship's crew safely evacuated the sinking ship before it capsized into the depths of the ocean. However, as they are trying to save the people, the skies darken and the waves become even more violent. A life or death moment for the fishing fleet. The crew of the Hard Merchandise and Hot Tuna found themselves in pretty hard times as they got caught up in the brewing thunderstorm too, with the winds howling and the waves rocking the boats severely. Initially, Mother Nature's wrath takes many forms, and lightning proves to be one of the most dreadful forms to be worried about. The threat of lightning becomes a constant fear, as every flash of lightning brings with it a reminder that the unpredictable wrath of the storm could be fatal. Hence, it is a deadly reminder that one wrong move could spell disaster for the fishermen, their boats, and of course, their lives. Conscious of the development, the crew became terrified, with their hearts also racing non-stop as the unrelenting storms battered their boats. The highlight of being struck with lightning paralyzes them with terror. More so, while contemplating the worst-case scenario whereby an electrical failure leads to them being stranded in the middle of the turbulence, one of the fishermen, known as TJ's Heart, races beyond normalcy. But they have no choice. It tends to be a phase that will pass while they make conscious efforts to avert the dangers. Just as the fishermen realized how risky the situation had become, they decided to head back to safety. As the lightning became increasingly terrifying and threatening, the fear of the imminent danger gripped them to their bone marrow. Immediately, the captain orders everyone to take cover and crouch low to minimize their exposure to the danger. The situation turns even more dire as the strikes continue, leaving the crew extremely worried while they pray to God for protection. As terrified as they have become, they come together in the lowest part of the boat, hoping for the storm to pass. Therefore, while lightning continues to strike dangerously close to the boat, causing the crew to duck for cover, with the weather worsening and the rain falling, the fishermen get relieved to be inside the boat. This provides some protection for them from the dangerous conditions. For this, they express their gratitude for the size of their boat, which is better able to withstand severe weather than any other smaller vessel. More terrifying about the posing threat of the lightning on the fishermen on board is how it gets a little rough out when the storm is being sighted coming along the horizon from afar. According to one of the fishermen on board, whenever they can see it coming in the skies and feel it in the change of the waves, looking like a lightning strike squall, they are fully aware of what is expected next. However, on the bottom line, they have to catch fish because that is what they do to provide for their families. Hence their need to endure getting involved in the few risks ahead of them. There is no need to worry much anyway. Why? Wicked Tuna educates us on how lightning is only dangerous on a boat. As part of their experiences on the water, whenever the wind shifts and there is weather change, it signifies that a big storm is coming. Hence, as a fisherman, captain, and boat owner, it is necessary to know about the weather at all times. With high winds come high seas. Lightning is extremely dangerous for fishermen at sea, and of the biggest concern is the big pole on the boat, which can attract lightning and cause great damage to the boat's electronics. This pole is a great conductor of electricity because the thunder strikes go right through the boat, and with that, if the boat loses its electronics, it will be left stranded in the process. On a more scary note, lightning causes people's hair to stand up boat, and also makes them jump, causing a great commotion that destabilizes the immune system of everyone on board, including the captain of the boat, striving to be in control of the boat. Hence, while in the midst of the life-threatening lightning storm, the fishermen on board are in grave danger with the electronic equipment on the boat, which is at risk of damage from the strikes. If the boat is struck, it could start a fire, which could be devastating. So the fishermen had to put in all they could to ensure their safety and also protect the boat from being hit. When the situation becomes extremely disastrous, the fishermen get worried about the worst-case scenarios, with the high winds and rough seas making the situation even more hazardous. Then, at this juncture, all they have to resolve into is a kind of prayer that they don't lose their engine and generator. As the old saying goes, lightning strikes the highest moving object. For these reasons, knowing about the weather is very important for fishermen, because wind can cause high seas, which in turn tends to make fishing difficult. Also, electronics on the boat can be destroyed by lightning, making navigation and communication difficult. This is why fishermen at sea need to be very careful in storms. What happens when the boat driver dares to put the lives of others at risk? An interesting tale on the high seas. In a hair-raising moment on another episode, a fisherman is charging at full speed ahead of another boat, displaying a dangerous lack of caution and awareness of the consequences of his actions. The captain of the boat could not help but express his concern over the potential disaster bound to ensue if the boat is stuck. He emphasized the critical role that electronic equipment plays in maintaining safety and stability. Showcasing the dangers of reckless behavior on the high seas, the fisherman's actions put not only his own crew at risk, but also the crew of the other boat, which they are driving towards, at risk of sinking. This kind of action can lead to serious consequences, which include collisions, injuries, and loss of life. Hence, the captain's emphasis on the critical role of electronic equipment in maintaining safety and stability is crucial. These pieces of equipment play a vital role in helping the fishermen navigate safely and avoid potential hazards. Additionally, safety protocols and regulations are meant to be put in place to prevent such avoidable incidents from occurring. What separates those who can handle the pressure of the sea from those who cannot? The ultimate test of strength and skills. In this episode, the crew set out to sea, working together to prepare their gear for fishing. As seasoned fishermen, the importance of getting the job done despite risks and challenges is directly emphasized in their actions. As they embark on the journey from the shore, they begin to prepare everything. Firstly, they have to lower the long green stick to get underneath the bridge, after which they would put it all the way back up so as to go fishing. One thing is that if the green stick gets snapped off, it will tear out all the rods attached to it, and if this happens, they will have to return to their base, signifying a game over. To avoid this, all their strength is needed to get the gear back up as soon as possible. Tyler, the boat's captain, warned the crew to move cautiously so as not to damage the welds. Notably, the green stick is an essential piece of fishing gear that, having been lowered to navigate under the bridge, must now be raised back to its original height so as to resume fishing. Hence, any misstep could cause the green stick to snap and potentially destroy their fishing rods, which will later force them to return to shore. The fishermen, therefore, put their strength together to raise the green stick back to its proper position. The captain, Tyler, instructs the crew to take their positions, one on the bow, one on the roof, and another one pulling down on the block and tackle. He emphasizes the need for speed and coordination, knowing that the success of the maneuver rests on their ability to work together quickly and efficiently. Their haste results in an injury. As one of the fishermen, Paul is banged up during the process, bleeding from a wound on his face that he sustained in a car accident. Despite this setback, the crew is determined to press on with the fishing trip, hoping that Paul is able to continue working regardless of his injuries. As a seasoned fisherman, the captain has faced many challenges over his 50 years. Hence, he dwells more on understanding the need for resilience, arguing that it is this quality that separates successful and energetic men from boys. Just as this crew thinks they can relax, the tranquil waters turn turbulent as a massive, huge fish appears on the horizon, threatening to tear apart their boat and their dreams of catching the biggest one. The pinwheel fish fight. In this episode, the pinwheel crew, with Tyler as the captain, battles it out with a formidable catch. However, they face a series of unexpected twists and turns. The other fisherman is the one in charge of reeling in the fish while Tyler supervises. They manage to keep the line straight as they fight to bring the fish out. However, as the fish struggles wildly, its proximity to the trap threatens to snag the line and undo all their hard work. Fortunately, as the crew regains control of the situation, they find the fish within their reach, which is now swimming closer to the boat. Excited by this development, they tend to carefully approach the fish, ready to bring it on board. But then, it was realized that the fish had already endured a strenuous struggle, leaving them anxious about the wear and tear on their equipment, especially their monoline, which may have become weakened during the fight. As the fish now moves closer, there is a need to act fast and with precision to secure their catch. They have been working really hard on this fish, and they have had to untangle him out of several traps too. But the crew is still on the line, hence the need to tighten up the leash so as to only get a couple 100 feet away. The fish has proven to be an elusive quarry, weaving in and out of the lobster traps set for him. However, in the face of the challenge, the crew has had to adapt, untangling the fish from various traps while managing to keep it on the line. With the fish now lurking around the lobster catch, the fishermen must strategically navigate the lobster traps to avoid additional snags and ensure a successful catch. With each passing moment, the team had a better glimpse of the magnificent creature, noting its impressive size and vibrant energy. Hence, the crew grows increasingly impressed by its strength and tenacity. By 35 to 40 feet above, the fish refuses to surrender, stubbornly evading their grasp despite all their efforts. The fish's resilience was top-notch, and it marveled the fishermen. They quickly come to the realization that this particular catch is proving to be one of their toughest adversaries yet. Upon estimation, they assess the fish to weigh around a mighty 600 to 700 pounds. However, on inspection of its fin, its distinct sickle fin is noticeable, giving more insight into its impressive size. With a mix of fascination and urgency, Captain Tyler was summoned to act swiftly and decisively, seeking to dart the fish and end the epic struggle. In awe of the fish's size, it dawned on them that it was a behemoth. The fishermen's spirits and excitement grew higher as the fish was dragged out of the water and into the boat. With Tyler seizing his chance by landing a perfect dart shot on the fish, the fishermen's persistence finally paid off. As the fish is subdued, the crew celebrates their victory with resounding jubilation. Considering the weight of the catch, it is worth 6,700 pounds. Indeed, they were overwhelmed with excitement as the size and power of the behemoth that they had successfully conquered amazed them. The crew of the Pinwheel become so overwhelmed with pride and amazement upon realizing the magnitude of their success. Having navigated the treacherous lobster-filled waters, they celebrate the fact that their persistence and skill resulted in the biggest fish catch of the season. This is a true accomplishment for any fishing crew. Congratulating one another, they declare themselves to be capable of catching tuna not just in one location, but anywhere and everywhere. Facing off a mighty behemoth during the day is avoidable. What happens when the fishing attacks come at night? The deadly shark attacks. In this episode of Wicked Tuna, the narrative shifts to Michelle Bankowitz, who is determined to prove herself as a hard-working fisherwoman. It was a night expedition, so Michelle and her crew set out to sea, eagerly anticipating the thrill of the hunt. As the hours passed, her instincts led her to a spot where she readied her rod and prepared for the fight over life. Michelle feels the tug of a potential catch. Her excitement turns to frustration when she realizes that her reel is backlashed, rendering her unable to give the fish any line. With the fish still on the line and putting up a fight, Michelle struggles to untangle the line, desperately trying to free it before the fish gets away. As Michelle battles the huge bluefin, her crew rallies behind her, providing support and guidance. The fish is spotted swimming on the surface, just out of reach, but she is determined to land the catch. As the excitement builds, her team encourages her to reel in the fish, while one of the crew members volunteers to assist with the reel, providing additional strength to Michelle's efforts. Not minding the weather of the night, the crew set to action, working seamlessly together to secure the fish. You can imagine how risky it is to fish during the day, not to mention at night, but still risks are meant to be taken to achieve a purpose. With their captain at the helm of the boat, Leah assists in bringing the fish closer to the boat, while the rest of the crew keeps watchful eyes. The crew gives clear instructions, keeping Michelle on course as she positions herself for the next critical strike. The successful landing of the bluefin brings a sense of relief and accomplishment, and the crew celebrates this shared victory. They acknowledge that they desperately needed the catch, and their success is a testament to their teamwork and skills. Michelle and the crew reflect on the hard-fought battle as they marvel at the fish's beauty and tenacity while sailing back to the shore. They all shared in the pride, recognizing the catch as neither ordinary nor easy. A lot of effort and determination were put into action to finally reel in the bluefin. However, their efforts paid off, with Michelle noting that they drifted almost 10 miles in pursuit of the fish. As the fishermen made their way back to the shore, news circulated around the other boats about Michelle's successful catch. Dave, a fellow fisherman, congratulates her and the rest of the No Limits crew, expressing his excitement and support. With the tuna still attached to the boat, they ensured that it was securely fastened to prevent any mishaps. Despite their initial expectations of a larger catch, the team celebrated their success, recognizing the battle as a tough one, but just being fortunate to have secured such a substantial bluefin. With their catch of the day, the crew begins to enjoy the moment of their achievement. But little did they know that the ocean has something even more exciting in store for them, an encounter that will test their skills and strength like never before. The fighting fish. Braving the unpredictable sea, the captain of Hard Merchandise, Dave Marciano, and the rest of the crew are determined to stay true to their strategy. They ignore the other boats that have headed south and stake claims in the waters close to home. They are always confident in their abilities. While Dave acknowledged that their catches haven't been the largest, he recognized that the real challenge lies in catching fish, regardless of size. According to him, it's a bit different than fighting a bluefin with their stationary rods, but because it's not connected to the boat while they are hooked up, they have a lot more control. As the fight is about to get more interesting, the captain, mindful of the crew's well-being, steps back from the helm to allow them to rest and focus on the task at hand, which is a fish fight. He explains that the use of lighter line on the stand-up rod requires a more delicate approach, ensuring that they don't lose their potential catch. Handling over the hinds, he trusts in the men and crew's ability to reel in a fish while he retires to catch some needed rest. This team's strategy of fishing close to home seems to pay off for them as they successfully hook a tuna on their stand-up rod. It was an exciting sight for the captain, reflecting on the decision to ignore the long journey to Chatham while choosing to trust in the abundance of fish in their own backyard. With their success, they are proving that confidence in one's abilities and local knowledge can be just as effective as the common routes. Immediately after Dave heard about the news of a bite, he was overjoyed to leave his resting period and join the rest of the crew in jubilation. While still working with the stand-up rod, the angler feels the power of the fish, using the harness to maintain control and absorb the strain on his legs. The captain thereby encourages the team to maintain focus on the fish, trusting in the skills of the crew to bring in the expected catch-in. As they anticipate the fish's movements, the angler guides it away from the boat, ensuring that it doesn't tangle with the propellers. This is to avert any unforeseen danger that may ensue. The team works together to make the tuna's head face the angler and get ready as the tuna gets closer to the boat. They ensured their utmost readiness to secure the catch, and it paid off for them. They were able to avert the danger that could have occurred. But has there ever been a more tragic scene of the fishing adventure? The Wicked Tuna spin-off. In March 2024, Captain Charlie Griffin from Season 2 to 5 of the Wicked Tuna passed away from a tragic boating accident. After Season 2 of the show, National Geographic released a spin-off set off in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. The show, which was originally named Wicked Tuna, North vs. South, was later renamed Wicked Tuna, Outer Banks in its second season. The fisherman had been taking his 35-foot recreational boat from Virginia Beach to Wanchese, North Carolina, for repairs but went missing sometime around Sunday evening. The U.S. Coast Guard was dispatched after the report of the overdue vessel, finding it capsized near Pea Island in the Outer Banks on Monday morning. Griffin and Layla were found dead on the island, having washed ashore, according to the Outer Banks Voice. However, according to the Maritime Service Branch, a second occupant aboard the vessel with Griffin is still being looked for by the officers. This person was described as a 36-year-old man wearing a camouflage t-shirt and sweatshirt, khaki shorts, and gray rubber work boots. Aside from these, no other details about the incident were released. Griffin appeared in Seasons 2 to 5 of Wicked Tuna, Outer Banks, which featured the captain and his crew fishing for bluefin tuna off the coast of North Carolina. While these legendary fishermen may have indeed faced many dangers and unforeseen high seas drama, there is no denying that the attraction of huge riches from the fish hunt drives many to risk their lives in the pursuit of bluefin tuna. In a world where a single fish fetches thousands of dollars, how much fortune is earned for a single catch? The biggest catch on Wicked Tuna. The biggest catch that has been on record so far in the Wicked Tuna series is the bluefin tuna. At the first bluefin tuna auction of 2019, a 600-pound fish in Japan was sold for a record-breaking $3 million, broken down to $5,065 per pound. Interestingly, that is how much a bluefin catch costs. According to the New York chef, Derek Wilcox, to Business Insider, there is only one type of tuna in the world that grows hundreds of pounds, which is the bluefin tuna. Hence, even getting some to taste costs a lot of money. Further, Wilcox said bluefin is the most sought after, and that only bluefin has intense marbling. This bluefin also, when it is properly aged, has a particular balance of flavors. In 2020, Wicked Tuna's Paul Heber received his personal highest price per pound for one of his catches. He said he secured $47.02 per pound for a fish he caught in the July season. Although he didn't reveal how heavy the catch was, he may have pocketed upwards of $47,000 should the tuna have weighed more than 1,000 pounds. On Wicked Tuna, Paul has also caught the biggest bluefin, weighing 1,287 pounds. What are your thoughts about these heart-pounding moments on Wicked Tuna? Share your views with us in the comments section. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.